Hi Aries, here is a general look at your solar chart for December 2015 and some January 2016. But before I go there, I just want to share some astro thoughts with you first. Now that last month I was mentioning the Saturn-Neptune transit, how it's affecting us over November, December, and also popping up again at times in 2016. I also mentioned the Uranus-Pluto transit, and I just want to say something else about that now. These two, of course, are behind the general change, meltdown in some cases, huge radical change going on across the globe, culturally, economically, socially, to do with belief systems as well, especially now that Saturn has come into Sagittarius. I'll be saying more about that in the stars for 2016, which are coming out very shortly now. I just want to mention in the first half of December we have Mars in challenging aspect to Uranus-Pluto. Mars can be a little bit of a trigger for these two, and tensions that are pushed down beneath the surface inherent in the Uranus-Pluto aspect will emerge, will get pushed up, like tectonic plates kind of buckling and crunching against each other, and then explosions of sort of like, the tension or the volcanic eruptions, and of course it's for a fleeting time. It's just over the first half of December. Every time Mars comes around into a cardinal sign, the same thing's going to happen, has done in 2015, will do in 2016, and of course in 2014 and 2017, because the Uranus-Pluto transit, even though it's no longer exact, is going to rumble on for a few more years, and we will see the effects globally of this. And those of us who have been on the planet a long time can really see the distinct and marked changes going on, and just how things are run, and not only that, but how the general tone of the way humans are one with one another, coming more from the mental side, the intellectual side, and far less from the heart side, because of course through the internet and through texting and blogging, and we are using our left brain a huge amount more than just meeting people down the pub. So anyway, that's a whole other subject. I just want to mention Mars coming onto here, triggering these two, might be minor in your life, but I'm just looking at the global sort of situation here. The tension build up could, is always looking like a pressure cooker for a way of release. So this could bring out the harsher side, the manipulative, controlling, unscrupulous side, particularly when Mars and Pluto get together. There's usually sort of underhand dealings going on. Or if it doesn't feel like that, then it can just feel like that one has got one's arm twisted up behind one's back because of some kind of emotional blackmail. Now, of course, we can bring these things on ourselves as well, feeling conscientious and obliged, etc. But just want you to be aware of that. So going back to the worldwide sort of influence of this, you can get an idea by the way of where these are in your natal chart, if you have it, by seeing which house they are in and then looking it up online. There's a plethora of information now online for everything to do with astrology, so just find it online. I'm going to tell you where they are in your sun sign forecast a little bit in a few minutes. So the global effects will involve, again, the banks, the governments, the financial property markets, the establishment, the status quo, and of course there's many in these sorts of positions that don't want the power base to shift, and they are in the habit of steamrolling over our universal freedoms. And of course the internet's going to come up as well, in this sort of way, as well as maybe radio and TV, because of Saturn being in the communication sign as Sagittarius. But So one side will tend to feel sort of outraged and victimized, and the other will seem, that they will not have a conscience. They will see it as their inalienable right to do these things, and will seem quite ruthless and only concerned with maintaining the control that they are used to, because they're trying to balance the books, or they just see it as they know better. And then on the flip side, energy levels can be very, very high with Mars Pluto, I have to say. So in your personal life, if you do have a mountain to climb, if you have a fight on your hands, then under this transit, much can be achieved, and you will possibly win as well, because even though Mars is in a contentious sort of angle with Pluto, it's a sort of energy that you need, which is very stubborn, and it's energy that will dig its heels in and help you. It depends on where Mars Pluto, of course, is in your chart. So for some people this will be minor, for others, and then you'll notice people around you that are getting it more strongly because of the degrees. It's always to do with the degrees of these things on a planet or on an important point in the chart. But you'll probably win, but you won't be able to do that without modifying something along the way, without maybe letting go of something and compromising along the way. And you'll have to be canny and intuitive, listen to that gut knowing, as the powers that be, or the controlling faction, whether that's, bosses, teachers, parents, or something even bigger than that, circumstances beyond your control, can feel like it's beyond your ability to do anything about. But this is a great aspect for getting to the bottom of things, digging out the rot, and doing that in whatever way necessary, and then to regenerate, starting with whatever is left to build upon, whether that's in your private life or in across the globe in a bigger sort of a way. And instead of coming from ego, a fear-based mentality, and this is a big ask, because we are in a time of opportunity to shift into a much more expanded, advanced level of consciousness, and this is our invitation. We're still in this in this turning point time, and before the whole thing shuts down, if we can't sort of step up to the plate in some way and do things in a more compassionate, refined, elegant sort of way, instead of just shouting and screaming and shooting at each other, then we're going to end up right back where we were before, and then we have got to wait another few thousand years for the next opportunity to come round again, and that is related to the galactic center. So just thought I'd mention that. Now, other news, very much as the month kicks off, new potentials are in the wind, because the sun is in an expansive sort of area. It's quite an upbeat. So this is the time for you to be looking enthusiastically towards the future, to be maybe planning, plotting, scheming, or maybe launching a plan or a plot or a scheme, just getting out of the daily grind, the routine box. A great time to get a breath of fresh air. So signing up for something new, learning something new, going somewhere, taking a trip. Then from the 10th, Mercury moves. The sun is still in that expansive area, but Mercury moves into an area more to do with achieving certain aims and ambitions, or having more to do with bureaucracy, authority figures, paperwork, that kind of thing. And you being more discussions or correspondence with these types of people, but also around career, work, job, that kind of thing. In the very, very first few days, Venus is very strong in her favorite place. She's been there since the previous month, and favouring affairs of the heart, whether that's in friendship or co-workers, colleagues, or in the love department, very much favouring that. And then when she does move, she continues to favour that, but becomes less of a sort of mental rapport and more of a deep connecting with somebody or something or some idea or some place. And you can touch others' feelings more deeply, they can touch yours, and there could be maybe materially good things coming towards you in the pipeline, so this is a good time to reach out if you do need a new and another, because it's often you with somebody else's help or teaming up with somebody else to get a good deal on something, or to get the resource that you need, whether that's a financial one or to do with property or whatever it's to do with, shared space, possessions, that kind of thing. And then Mars is in your opposite sign all month, really sort of G'ing up that energy, which is to do with that teaming up, that connection with another, that sort of rapport, that feeling of pulling in the same direction. But patience could be tried, because Mars is quite feisty. It likes to be solo, it wants to be out in front. So it can make things go a bit too fast. You lose your patience, somebody else will lose your patience, somebody else coming at you in a rather over assertive sort of a way, or vice versa. They see you as being a bit over the top, you being jumping first without thinking properly about something, thinking it through, when you are in some way collaborating or cooperating or just interacting in some way with another. And then the solar energy changes from the 22nd, because the Sun goes into the same area as Mercury went into on the 10th, which is more about work, it's more about image, outer image, it's more about that sort of authority figure, energy in the world, bureaucracy, that kind of thing. And then going on into January, the Sun will be there up until the 21st, and then moves into a very progressive area along with Mercury. Mercury will be in this very progressive area as well, all month. So the two of them from the 21st, respectively, the Sun first and then Mercury in a very progressive area. However, Mercury will be going backwards, retrograde, between the 5th and the 25th, and which, if you follow the astrology, you kind of get the gist of what that means, but it tends to mean hold-ups and delays and having to think things through a little bit more carefully, maybe. The planet Venus is in a very expansive, outgoing area, again, boosting the spirits, meaning that you could be connecting with somebody at a distance, or you could be going somewhere which is outside of your routine territory. And Mars is from the beginning of the month up until the 4th. Mars continues boosting the energies, making the energy very dynamic, lively, maybe a bit sort of conflicting in the partnership area at times. That's up until the 4th, so that's finishing off that and then going into this much deeper area from the 4th, which is to do with deeper feelings, deeper connections, joint interests with another, joint possessions, what you share with another. It could be materially or it could be emotionally. So it can be quite a sizzly area, but also it can be an area where it's easy for somebody to push your buttons or for you to push somebody else's buttons. So just be aware of that. And then for both of the months, Jupiter, of course, is in this new area, which is to do with work again, but also health. That's until next September. So that might mean with that Jupiter energy, especially where the Sun is going to be up until the 21st in January, but also Mercury is going to be there from the 10th in December. opportunities. But as Jupiter is a learning through doing planet, then those opportunities are for you to learn from. And how do we learn? Sometimes we don't realize quite what we're signing up to. So I was going to say a mistake. Nothing's a mistake really, although of course we look upon it like that because it's all grist to the mill. It's all part of this merry-go-round. You learn. I mean, I suppose a mistake is really when you don't learn, when we don't learn. That's probably a mistake. Best to learn really, and move on. Don't dwell there. So this is you maybe learning through employment matters, or learning through, how to structure your day, to do your chores and your tasks, or it might be to do with health and fitness, so how to structure your day like that, or how to reach out into new areas and find something which you much more enjoy, to do with work or to do with health and fitness, or collaborating with colleagues, or finding service providers or practitioners or therapists or whatever, or some sort of ology or ism that you can follow. So yeah, it would generally mean that there's new territories being carved on your mental landscape, in not so much the what, but the how do I do this best. And then that teacher should be there to help you. Whether that teacher knows they're teaching you or not, you're paying attention and you're watching, how they do it. You Arians born the 9th to the 13th, or with 20 to 24 degrees rising, will feel this energy the most this month. Saturn is now in a 2-year transit of Sagittarius in a really positive, very, very good angle to your sun sign Aries. And this is a cycle for you to be gaining insights about belief structure, fields of interest, mental and physical. So whether that means travel, whether that means study, you will be seeing the reality, warts and all, up close and personal, of something which was maybe just a sort of rosy picture before, and now it's like dot the I's, cross the T's, persevere, and see maybe the other side of some sort of happy little happy little honeymoon kind of place. I don't mean honeymoon, but I mean sort of fairy tale, I should have said, sort of place, yeah, and or interest, or study, or person, and then you just begin to see all of the other little bits which are hidden around the back. So and you may feel more responsibility because of any of that. You may feel more responsibility because of a course, because this area is to do with training, it's to do with education, it's to do with spirituality as well, and the law, also legal matters. So you have to take things more seriously because of things like that, maybe. Developing a new understanding will be gradual, like chipping a new shape out of a stone. And you Arians born the 24th to the 28th of March, or with 3 to 8 degrees rising, you're going to feel this energy the most this forecast period. And because I was speaking about Uranus and Pluto earlier, and also of course Mars, I just want to say that you Arians born the 4th to the 6th of April, or with 15 to 17 degrees rising, you're going to feel the energy of that the most this month. And of course Uranus is in your sign, so this is a major life-changing energy for you Arians. And no, it won't go back to the way it used to be, because you are evolving. This is like a major advancement for you, and in ways that you haven't planned. That's the sort of, there's the kind of little fly in the ointment. But hey, that, otherwise it's just, whoops, it's just easy, isn't it? If we're not taken aback or taken by surprise, and have to be sort of feeling a bit jittery about things and not knowing what's going to happen next, then it's sort of all planned out and predictable, which is not the way Uranus operates. There's a lot more to be said about that, but you can hear it in all sorts of different places on the internet now. But remember to cherry pick and just take the bit that seems to feel right to you. Pluto, you Arians born the 2nd to the 5th of April, with 13 to 16 degrees rising, you're going to feel that energy the most this forecast period. And for you, that planet is right at the top of your chart to do with the way you identify with your outer image, and really at the end of it, the transit, particularly over your sun, but it could be also to do connecting with other planets. This is you sort of settling and agreeing more with that outer image and feeling more relaxed about it, because this energy will weed out all that is ego and false about that. That humility's got to come in there, and then you have to be humble enough to let go of what your evolution is saying you don't need anymore. And yeah, and that is it for December, January. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. And also, if there's anything you want to check out, the basics of this is written up on my website. Not all the asides, but the basics. And I hope you have a lovely festive season. And stars for 2016 are coming out shortly as well. And I'll see you the next time.